what you open inside?
Our new dinghy anchor, £22.
Yeah, it's very light. I picked it up from SIENNA, and SIENNA was acting as if it was heavy, but it's really not that heavy. Alright, so what do we got? Woo! Is that what you were expecting?
Yep.
So this is the new anchor that's supposed to be fantastic.
Best dinghy anchor apparently. The anchor with a protector on it, a bag to hold it in, and 50 feet of line.
So what's the bag like?
Yeah, it's really, seems like a good quality.
That's cool, and the anchor has a protector on it too, so
also,
it's not going to go through it.
Also, if there's water gets in there, the water can get out.
Are you excited to test it out?
I'm looking forward to it. Okay, the first anchor we're looking at here is a Bruce anchor or a claw hammer. This weighs 2 kilos or 4.4 pounds. This one is great in sand. Wet sand, it holds really good. On our old boat we used to have it, and
it was great.
And if it's on its side, because of the way the flukes go, it can get a grip.
Sand.
Soft dry sand, so it
won't work.
It's not the sand that you would be
use.
Anchoring in, but we just wanted to show you on the
what it looks like.
This is our old anchor on our dinghy we've had for 3 years. Grappling hooks type one. It is great in rocks, weeds and sand and mud. It isn't really that good, and I've had to dive down on it many a times and actually dig it in, push it into there to hold it down, or jag it between 2 rocks to hold it. Once it's in there, it's great, but it's not that. I don't like it. I don't really like it. And this is 1.5 kilos, 3.7 pounds.
And I wanted to say that it's not a real grappling hook. But what I like about it is that you can twist this, pull it in, and it's for safekeeping. So if you were wondering how you could do that, you could just twist that, push it in. That's what I like about that. It's just fun to play with kind of sometimes. See? How do you think?
This is our new anchor. It's the lightest of them all. This is 2.5 pounds, or just over 1 kilo.
This one's really good.
It just digs in really quick on this sand. But what we're going to do in a minute is we're going to try it in different situations.
Is it digging in?
No, not really. No.
Keep pulling. See if you can get that to dig in at all.
It's because we need like hard sand.
It just goes to show you that what's happening.
Yeah.
This one is called the...
This is a claw.
A claw, okay.
Dug in. Oh, that dug in nice. Yeah.
Wow. By far that has dug in.
Real good.
Yeah, that...
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Kim?
Yeah, I got it.
Look at me, look at me.
So that's holding your whole weight.
Look.
Yeah. Okay, so that is stuck in there. Okay, so we've done some tests in the dry sand here. So now what we're going to do is actually go down closer to the water and put the anchor in where it's wet sand to see what it's like more realistically.
Okay, what we're in now is a bit of hard, wet sand, and first I'm going to pull the claw. I've set them up all as though they landed perfectly, so we'll just see how it goes.
Wow!
Yeah, that's dug in really nice.
That one's an okay one, but you've got to make
that
sure.
held quite well, okay, for our new anchor now, the Mantus on the hard, wettish sand.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
That's really good.
I think that's completely dug in.
The more I pull, the more it digs in. But
That's dug in.
that's dug in. Okay, the last one in hard wet sand is the grappling hook one. Pull in.
That's not going to dug in.
Hardly pulling at all with just my fingers, and I may as well have thrown a log a rock over.
That was a good demonstration. So we've done sand, we've done it from the beach, and now we're going to take the dinghy out and test it from the dinghy. You know, what do you think so far about the anchors?
I want to try them out in the dinghy already.
Just going to go out and use the anchors for exactly what they want, because most people do these tests on the beach, but we've done that, and we're just going to try it out and see how it goes. The reason I'm using this one is because it's a much heavier, there's very little wind, but there is quite a bit of tide, so I just want it to...
Well, if the anchors work on this boat, they'll work on our boat.
Oh, easy. This is like 3 times as heavy.
It's such a perfect day to go anchor testing. So we're just heading out of the marina. This thing is huge. Nice to be out in the water, isn't it?
Yeah. It's cold.
Okay, Sienna, so what are we doing?
We're putting the anchors out.
Testing the depth.
Yeah, so Daddy's going to test the depth to see how deep we are, because we don't have a depth finder.
It's only about 7 foot deep.
Okay, good place to test the anchors.
Yeah. Okay, first one I'm going to do is the claw or Bruce anchor. So what I'm going to do is just throw it out. I've got virtually all the rope. It is now out fully, and I'm just going to put the engine in reverse. It's bit, and that is holding us nicely. I'm just going to give it a few more rev. Going backwards. Well, it bit, and then it started bouncing on that one.
And it's mud, isn't it? Here?
It's on mud, yeah. As long as we don't put any reverse engine on it, it's holding us, and there is a tide of about 1.5 knots at the moment. If it got too breezy or too strong, it has a potential for it to go.
Oh my gosh, everybody.
Wow. So it's interesting that when you gave it some welly that it didn't hang, it didn't hold on in there.
Hold on. The reason, because it's full of mud. It bit and then let go, and as you can see there was a lot of mud still stuck on it, and it didn't hold very well. On this one now is our old one, the grappling hook. There's a few waves coming in. I hope I don't go in. Oh. Right, here we go.
There's the wave.
So I'm just letting it drift back. I feel as though it's taking a grip, and now I'm just going to put it into reverse. Okay, it's starting to stretch now, and I've just got it in tick over. We're going backwards.
We're just dragging.
We're just dragging, and it's just no good in mud. Many times I had to dive down and dig it in, put it behind a rock or something. Yeah, I just didn't like it at all.
This whole past 3 years we've had a dinghy, we've only ever used the grappling hook.
That's all we had.
And because it's all we had. And in the Mediterranean, I don't think we ever used an anchor. But as soon as we got to the Caribbean, we used it all the time, because with the incoming waves, if you put your dinghy up against a jetty, it would smash into the jetty, and you risked puncturing or just damage.
That's how our dinghy popped.
Yeah, our dinghy popped in Mustique, because it got rammed into a nail. So the reason we used our grappling...
Life is mean.
The reason we used our grappling anchor is because it kept the dinghy away from the jetty. So we'd have the front of the jetty tied on with a rope and a chain, and the back of the jetty would have the grappling hook going out. But there was quite a few occasions that Simon had to jump off and just make sure it was really secure.
So I'm getting out the Mantus, but I want to make sure that I get the same amount of line out, so it's fair.
Yep.
The same amount of scope. Okay, I'm going to throw the Mantus out now, our new anchor. We'll see how it goes.
We're putting the same amount of rope out with every single anchor, just so that they all have the same opportunity to dig in.
Okay, I threw it out that way. The wind's picked up a little bit, and it's actually pushing us a different direction.
That anchor.
But I've thrown it out, and it has now starting to bring us around as though it is bit.
And bitten doesn't mean like you bit the sand. It means that the anchor's dug in.
Okay, now that I've checked the anchor, given it a bit of a tug, it seems to have bitten in a little bit. I'm now going to put it into reverse, just idle.
Wow, have we stopped? It's holding us.
It's holding it.
That's awesome.
No, that was the same as the claw though. So
Yes.
on idle, the claw was holding us.
Okay, so now we're going to give it
Now-
a little bit more.
A little bit more.
That's kind of scary. Let's see if we get closer to... We're not moving it off. That is holding us. Are you happy? That's
Yeah.
holding us. Perfect.
That's holding us.
Okay. Result. We're gonna put that back into neutral.
Okay.
Can you get it?
Can you get it? Keep pulling.
You're doing good. Be careful it doesn't all of a sudden dislodge and you go
Yeah.
flying.
Okay.
You also want to be careful that it doesn't pull up into the
Yeah,
hull.
Okay. Okay, I've got it. There
Okay.
you go.
Wow, good job, Sienna. You pulled it up to the boat. Great. Yeah, look at that. I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
Because it's not a heavy anchor either.
No, it's
very...
the lightest by. It's half the weight of all the others. Grappling hook anchor. I'm going to keep it. The reason I'm going to keep it is purely because if we're in a rocky area, I don't particularly want to use this one on rocks, not on a coral reef, but on rocks. I will use this one, and I think that will work well. For everything else, I'm not even going to use it. So, but it will still be on our dinghy. This is our friend's anchor, and I thought it performed pretty well. But as soon as you give it a bit more revs backwards, it just started to bounce. If you have one, it's okay. This one here, the Mantus, our new one, I'm very happy with it. Very, very happy with it.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. British Kim says goodbye too. Bye.
What does he mean by scope?
The scope is the line.
Yeah. So generally, when you're anchoring, you take what the depth is, and you multiply it by a number.
Well, what you're supposed to do is like you're supposed to get your anchor, put it down, count how many it is, and then on the line make it sure it's fair, and then you can keep on going until you get to the number that you got to when it dropped down like that.
Yeah, but then you have to multiply it by
Yeah.
at least 3 times. So if there's 10 feet below us,
Then
we have to multiply by 3. So that means we need to put 30 feet of rope out.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So it can like go out further.
Yes,
and,
it
like,
needs to go
into
out.
Go into the sand and grab the sand.
Exactly. Speaking of dinghy anchors, what's even more important than finding a good anchor is finding a good dinghy. Last year, our dinghy finally bit the dust after several years of use and patching. In the end, we had to motor along while pumping up our dinghy at the same time. It made for quite a sight. In order to find the best valued dinghy for the least expense, I spent several days listing what we needed to use our dinghy for. I researched the best layout, which dinghy material lasted the longest, and what extras were important. How were we going to store the dinghy, and outboard considerations. Further, I researched how to inspect a good used dinghy. What Simon and I needed to look for to ensure we were buying a dinghy that would last us several years. In the end, we purchased new, but through my research, I learned several tips and invaluable information that would benefit anyone looking to buy a new or used dinghy. Purchase my guide and checklist on choosing a dinghy if you want to save time and money. For more information, visit my online shop. Click the link listed here.